What's up, peeps? You guys know the uproar concerning Ted Cruz's speech. Now, I like Ted Cruz. I like the way that he campaigned in the primaries. I like his ideas. I know there's a lot of rumors about him out there, but none of them have been substantiated by the press, by the courts, about who he is and what he's about, and whether he's tied up with the Bushes and he's involved in globalization and all these different things, right? I mean, it just gets pretty crazy when you follow the political landscape. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I don't really get too deep into the conspiracies behind the politicians. What I believe in is we have to stand on their ideas and their politics in light of Scripture. I'm a kingdom independent activist. I believe that Christians need to be independent of political parties, but if they are involved in the Republican or Democratic Party, they should bring kingdom principles to their party and fight for those things. Nevertheless, concerning Cruz's speech, there's several things I'm thinking about. Number one, I don't know why people are in uproar. Yes, he made a commitment during the primaries that he would endorse whatever Republican candidate is out there. But both him and Trump said that they would not endorse each other. Even Trump said that. I mean, that's how much these guys dislike each other. And number two, really what he espoused for in his speech was not kingdom principles, but conservative, constitutional, Republican principles. And I think the thing that threw people off is when he said, look, vote your conscience. Well, I mean, that was kind of a neutral statement. I guess what they wanted was for him to say, vote for Trump. By saying, vote your conscience, look up and down the ticket and vote your conscience, that was considered anti-Trump. Now, granted, it wasn't a full endorsement. I guess if you're not for someone, you're against someone. But nevertheless, look at all the things he said prior to that speech. Now, I want you to also consider this. One thing I've noticed about Cruz is that he's a really calculative, forward kind of thinker. Very smart. I mean, of course, would blow Trump out in a debate, and he did during the primaries. He really blew him out. I mean, he's just a lot smarter, wittier, and principled. I mean, Trump is the guy that flip-flopped on the LGBT issues. He kind of flip-flopped on the abortion issue. He flip-flops on same-sex marriage. Trump showed during the primaries that he's kind of flip-floppy. Cruz really has stood strong and on his principles. Now, I believe, based on Cruz's thinking, as I study Cruz's psychology, I realized that Cruz kind of is a forward thinker. He's like a chess player. And I believe this is what Cruz thinks is going to happen. Number one, that Trump is going to flip-flop. That this is what I think Cruz thinks is going to happen. I'm saying I believe this is what's going to happen, but this is what I believe he thinks is going to happen. Trump is going to flip-flop. He's going to vote and fight for policies that are going to go against the conservative Republican base. Republicans are going to go nuts, okay? If they thought Bush enlarged the government, if they thought Bush betrayed them with the war in Iraq, yes, Bush had some good conservative policies and things that he pushed for, but I believe that Cruz thinks that Trump is going to betray the conservative base even more. And when he does, he's going to be right there to say, at the Republican National Convention, I took martyrdom, I took a beating, a booing from the crowds for the very things that now Trump is doing. And then he's gambling on becoming a hero and saying, I told you so. I am the true conservative that no matter what people are thinking, I operate on principle. Now, we know based on political history that people can go with crowds, people can choose the means that compromise their principles in order to get certain ends. So it's not like people don't do that. But I believe that ultimately what Cruz is setting himself up for is 2020, when he says, "I told you so." Now, based on my understanding of politicians, from Obama to Trump, Reagan, they all kind of betray their campaign promises. And when they do, people get angry, and by either the first term or the second term, people kind of dislike a president. And it's at that point that what you said in the past can either make you or break you. So again, this is my thoughts, this is my political commentary on the whole Cruz speech and what he's trying to do, what he's preparing himself to do. I would love to hear your thoughts. Peace.